The best way to describe Joe DiMaggio is he's a penis with a man hanging from it.
Right. It's huge, right?
You know how we used to, when we were kids, they called them shower shoes? They called them thongs, did they?
Right.
Joe wore 3 of them.
Oh, wow. Hey, David Wells just came by with his girlfriend Nina. He's on his way to another appearance. I guess he did Regis and Kathy Lee. Dying to see him. Look at him, man. I was watching him on TV pitch that perfect game. Man, you're on a roll.
I think I'm enjoying it while I can. You know,
it is fun.
It is.
It is fun, man. Although
it's exciting, and I've never expected anything of this to happen.
Oh, you're not getting a little crazy though. Yesterday, you told me these things were happening a little too fast.
They
for
are.
you.
That's why I said it. I mean, it's overwhelming, but
how do you enjoy it?
You know, not in a bad way, but it sucks to be me right now because I'm neglecting all my friends. I got a bunch of calls. I haven't called anybody. I'm doing
but come on, they understand.
You know what?
Yeah,
this morning,
but still, I mean,
and you know what they're all going to say?
That's not the way I am.
And they're all going to say, "Hey, man, you're a scumbag. You made it. Now you're not calling me, and this and that and the other thing." It might be rough.
You never
know.
know.
What else is very funny? This morning, I had your number, and Gary tried to call, and he said your voicemail was full.
Yes, I haven't checked it. I'm sorry.
This is too exciting, man. I don't know what to do. Like, you pitch a perfect game, then what do you do? You know, when I wrote my books and like 25,000 people would show up to the book signing, people would say, "Well, how do you feel? How do you feel?" And I'd say, "I really don't feel any different." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't feel...
You do for a couple days, and then...
Are you able to enjoy this?
I am now, yeah.
Really?
I got some good sleep to think about what went on and what I've been doing. Just
do you
put
feel
everything in
happy?
Perspective.
Do you feel happy inside?
Very happy.
You do?
Yeah. It's like a dream come true.
Wow.
It's something that...
Well, that's something that can never be taken away. It's not just a one-season thing. That's forever.
Right.
Yeah, it's a history book. Do you think this guarantees you a place in
the Hall of Fame?
The Hall of Fame?
No, just a hat. What I donated. Yeah, I gave him my hat.
What are you thinking about Saturday's game? You think you're going to do another perfect game?
No.
No way?
No. That's it.
I think you might do it.
That's.
What if you started throwing perfect games like every time?
Then we're getting into Twilight Zone.
Yeah, wouldn't that be weird?
And you know what? I'm going into hiding.
Yeah, you couldn't take much more of this.
I'll do one more and quit.
Yeah, it's enough.
Yeah.
When you were playing baseball, you did this thing where you would do like sort of undercover work, and you'd find out everything on an umpire. If he was going, cheating on the wife, gambling, whatever he was doing, you'd find out.
Yeah.
And then you get up to bat, and you turn to the umpire, and you'd say to the guy, "Hey, man, how was your road pussy the other night? You're cheating on your wife."
Oh,
and you think that made them give you good calls, right?
It gave him no option because fear does a lot to a man. So I just realized early that umpires controlled my life. Meaning, I mean, if that's the situation, you try to, be nice to him. You try to, but so I just eliminated any risk of them having any control over my life because, like, one of them would call a strike and I'd look back and say, "Really? What was the spread last night?" So I mean, but again, everything I did was about getting an edge because I was never supposed to be
a pro.
Well, think about it. There's only 30 jobs in the world.
Yeah.
Like if you're a center fielder, there's only 30 jobs in the world. Not Florida, not New York, not California, not Puerto Rico, not Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I mean, you could play college ball and all that, but become a pro.
And the major leagues, too, because you have to then take someone's job. I mean, it's hard enough to get up there. Then you have to take someone's job.
Yeah, because somebody's already doing that job when you show up.
Right, and they work their ass off to get there. It's like,
What people don't realize is, when you played for the Mets, the thing you didn't like is you had to share the position with Mookie. And it pissed you off. You wanted to be a full-time player.
Yeah.
So they would rotate you guys, right?
Yeah, it's the only way they could. You can't get paid if you don't play every day. But our manager was kind of, he was...
What's that guy's name again?
Davy Johnson.
Davy Johnson. And you went to him and said, "I don't want to share my position with Mookie," right?
No, I just said I got to play every day. I can play. I said, I mean, like, it was kind of weird getting traded to Philadelphia, like, when they just say...
hey, you're done.
Yeah, you got traded. Thanks for your services.
Then you go there full time, and it's hard to keep up. So then you had to do the steroids, right?
Yeah.
In order to fucking just stay in the game. It was too hard on your body to play every day.
Well, I'm a little guy. I mean, I'm 5'9".
Yeah, but you're built like a brick shithouse. Look at you.
Well, I'm a little bigger now, but
you look like you could kick some ass.
But 5'9", like, and I led the major leagues like twice in hits. How did I do that? I mean, not because I'm the best hitter.
When you decided to do steroids, because you're playing for Philadelphia, they got you playing every day, and you said, "My body's starting to break down." The weird thing is, you described that everyone was doing it, and at that point, steroids were so available, you'd walk into Rite Aid or something, and you were able to buy them over the counter, right?
Yeah, I didn't forget how to hit.
Right.
I can play the game.
You needed strength.
I needed the durability, and then I show up in spring training. And, I mean, I had muscles in my face, dude.
And then what happens? You just feel like you're a fucking god?
Fuck, I walked out there like I had a 15-inch cock, bro.
Really?
It was like, you want me? Bring it, motherfuckers. And they knew it, too. The other team knew.
In your book, by the way, is this all worth it? Is the book selling like crazy?
This is like a national phenomenon what's going on here. I really didn't know how this book was going to influence not just baseball, but it's influencing everyone in general.
But the players have got to be pissed because they got it. Because now they got it.
Mark McGwire must be on fire.
Right.
The only way to make this completely valid
was to name names?
And I believe eventually will happen. One of these players will come out of the woodwork and agree with me. Listen, my attack is not towards a player. Players, my attack is solely and strictly against Major League Baseball and the Player Association.
Are they calling your records into question? Then they might as well call everybody's into question, right?
I don't know how they're going to do that because in the 80s and 90s it was the steroid era, and I don't know how
what I'm saying is if they're throwing you out and casting aspersions on you,
right,
then they have to do it to everybody, right?
Well, I don't know if they will or they can because I'm the only one or one of the very few that's admitted taking steroids. My main objective was never to attack the players. My main objective was to attack Major League Baseball and the Player Association. The reason why I named the players is because I need these individuals to come out and admit that what I'm saying is the truth.
So what is wrong with Major League Baseball and the Players Association?
They allowed steroids in the game. They endorsed it. They turned their blind eye to it, and because they were all benefiting from it financially.
Tell me something. You think players who use roids should be allowed in the Hall of Fame?
I don't see how they're going to change. I don't know. That's the most difficult question because I don't see how they can judge.
Will they keep you out of the Hall of Fame?
I have no idea.
You don't care?
I care, obviously,
right,
but it's out of my control.
Okay.
How do you let a guy who's taken steroids for a long time into the Hall of Fame? How do you take, if say Barry Bonds has taken them, how do you take his career and compare it to Hank Aaron's? They're not the same career.
Not comparing.
They didn't play on the same field. You know what I mean? They played in a different way.
How do you compare records? One guy got stamina from steroids, the other guy didn't.
You don't have to compare records. That guy didn't do everything it took to be the champion.
No, come on.
Robert,
it's illegal. He wasn't allowed to.
Robert, in a 100-yard dash, if I trip the guy next to me, I've done everything I can to win.
People are going to be debating this for a long time.
Legendary battles you had with your manager, Billy Martin.
Yes.
But you hated him, right? You hated Billy Martin.
I didn't like him. I didn't waste my time hating people. It's too much effort.
He played mind games with you. I mean, he wouldn't.
Yes.
He didn't
What
want.
did he do?
Well, he, batting fourth, the fourth position, cleanup, as they say.
Yeah, he wouldn't let it happen.
He wouldn't let Reggie,
Really?
Mr. Jackson, do this.
Right. The way that I became the cleanup hitter is Thurman Munson and Lou Piniella went to Billy Martin's room in early August 1977. Said, Billy, we're struggling. You're hurting the ball club by not hitting this guy cleanup. Get out of the way and let him go.
And
then he listened?
We wound up being 41-11 our last 52 games.
I didn't realize you two were going at it that
He never
much
spoke.
all the time.
He never spoke to me for about a year and a half. First year and a half I was there.
Wow.
He had an intermediary named Fran Healy, a catcher, that came in I didn't play the fifth game of the playoffs against Kansas City and the Yankees in 1977. Okay, I was benched, and it was a big national thing. So Fran Healy comes out of the manager's office, and he comes to me, and he says, Reggie, he says, you're not playing tonight. I said, really? I said, well, who's supposed to tell me? You're the backup catcher. And Fran says, no, I was in there. Billy called me in. He told one of the coaches to tell you, and he wouldn't tell you. He said, so I'm telling you. He said, now let me tell you what you need to do. You need to go out on the bench. You need to not act upset. You need to be a part of the team. The cameras are going to be on you. The people and the fans will go against you if you if you sulk or whatever. He said, so if you have to pretend, just be rooting for the team. Because you never know, you may get in there. In the ninth inning, we went in and got a pinch hit and helped us win the game. But
must be a great feeling, man, to be like, Mr. October, the savior.
At the same time, Howard, I never was bitter about it. I never did I told you so. I did my thing. It was obvious. Everybody was happy. And I guess this would be the first time that I would have anything to do with, I told you so, you should have did it the first time.
You get yelled at still because they consider you the guy who injured Alex Rodriguez, right? You were doing a baseball game.
Unbelievable.
A-Rod is talking to you on the sidelines, right?
Yeah, so I walk out. I'm with my sister's son, Jack, and I walk out of the dugout, and I'm walking down, and Alex, who's become a good friend of mine, is standing there at third base while they're taking batting practice. And he looks over to me and goes, "Hey, Joe." And I said, "Hey, Alex." And I keep walking. He goes, "Hey, Joe, is that your boy?" He's starting to say, "Is that your boy?" And Lance Berkman, who was playing for the Yankees at the time, hits a rocket. It crunches him right under his knee.
Oh, man.
And he goes, like running out one-legged into center field, is rolling around in the grass in center field, grabbing his leg. And my sister's son, Jack, who's got this raspy voice, is like, "I don't think that's good." And I go up to the booth. I'm standing down there, and I'm like, "Oh, my God, I hope nobody saw me, talking to him."
Right.
And eventually one of the players said, "Oh, I know how he got hurt. He was talking to that Fox guy. What's his name?" And then the horde of media guys turn on me. They're like, "What happened?" I said, "I just walked out on the field." He turned his head to say hi, and he got whacked. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
So people used to blame you for that.
It was the cover. It was the back cover of the Daily News.
Oh, my God.
It said, "What the Buck?" And it was a game against the Red Sox. They took him out of the lineup. He didn't play the next night.
And Yankee fans have never forgiven you for that.
That's right. They hate me.
I know. We had we interviewed like Yankee fans. They were like, "Fuck Joe Buck. Fuck, he fucking killed A-Rod, blah, blah, blah." Yeah,
I mean, all I did was exist, and I got motherfucked for that.
I went to Vietnam with Joe DiMaggio.
Right.
And I actually gave him a shower one night in the middle of the jungle.
You gave him a shower?
Joe DiMaggio?
Well, the only way it happened, we got a minute to tell the story?
Sure.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, we went from San Francisco to Vietnam, me, Joe, Jerry Coleman, Tony Canigliaro.
Wow.
And they broke us up into two groups, and Joe and I went south, and the other two went north, and we ended up meeting them on the Intrepid, which is docked down here.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're out in the middle of the jungle, and it's so damn hot you can't sleep.
I just can't
and
believe
Joe
it.
says, "I got to take a shower." I said, "Joe, we're not downtown Saigon. This is the middle of the jungle." So the only way you can take a shower is they have like a bamboo thing, and somebody's got to get up on a chair and pour the water in and pull a string, and I'm the somebody, and Joe's taking a shower.
Right.
Now, the best way to describe Joe DiMaggio is he's a penis with a man hanging from it.
Right. It's huge, right?
You know how we used to, when we were kids, they called them shower shoes? They called them thongs today? Right. Joe wore 3 of them.
Oh, wow. His penis was that huge.
Oh, my God.
That. It was legendary, right?
A dick with a man hanging from it. No question about it.
Unbelievable. How many inches would you say Joe DiMaggio was?
Well, he said, that ain't where it ends. That's where it bends.
Did it go, no kidding. Down to his knee.
Oh, my God.
So you had to bathe this man.
No, I just pulled the water. I didn't bathe him.
But you got to look. Did you say? Is that the biggest one?
I got to be the only guy in the world to give Joe DiMaggio a shower.
Yeah. Was that the biggest one you've ever seen? I mean, you've been in locker rooms all over the world.
He's quite a man.
Did you say, "Joe, my God"?
Jesus, I tried. If I had a camera phone, I'd have took a picture of that.
How did
he could have signed Carl Yastrzemski on it.
Wow.
So you get out of college.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You didn't even graduate college, right? You didn't finish.
I graduated junior college, so I have an associate degree.
Okay. So you go there, and then I guess someone told me, like, as a favor, somebody let you sort of go.
Tommy Lasorda is really, really close friends with my dad.
And how does Lasorda know your dad?
They kind of grew up together. They're from Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
And
did you say to your dad, "Hey, Dad, can you ask Tommy Lasorda if I can try out"?
Yeah. Well, what happened was, again, I wasn't getting any exposure, at all. And Tommy, obviously, with his connections, he said, "Well, I'll have the Dodgers draft Mike as a favor, and it looks good on a resume. Like if you go to a school, like I could go to University of Florida,
right?
Be a coach or something.
Yeah. Well, they'll say, yeah, you've been drafted by a team, so we'll give you a shot to play.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of like a calling card.
All right. So like you really wanted a shot because you felt, hey, maybe I am a good baseball player.
Yeah, I had the dream. You
had the dream.
Yeah.
But even though you sucked in college, you kind of knew deep inside, like if you put your mind to it, you could be good.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had some talent because I would go to, knowing Tommy, I would be bat boy and stuff for the Dodgers when I was a kid, and I would hit in batting practice, and I would hit home runs and out of the park, and I'd be like, I can do this like the regular guys.
Were you getting nervous when you played?
Was it a psychological thing?
Yeah, you would get nervous?
Definitely.
Something was holding you back?
Definitely.
Okay, so let me understand something. So Lasorda says to you, all right, kid, because I know your dad, I'll let you try. But meanwhile, Lasorda probably thinks you suck too. And
He's just doing it.
And he's just doing it reluctantly.
Get it out of the way.
He's like, I wish the whole goddamn family would leave me alone with this already, right?
Yeah,
All right.
he's been calling his mark in ever since.
Yeah. So he lets you like try out, and you try out, and what do? They put you in like AA baseball or something?
Yeah,
or?
you goes rookie ball, A ball, AA, AAA, big leagues.
All right, so you were like in rookie ball.
Yeah.
All right, so you then.
How do you get over the psychological thing though that he's having?
Well, what happened was I really started going to the gym and training. I started lifting. I gained 15 pounds. Really got stronger. And then when I finally got a chance to play, they said, "Okay, hey, you're hanging around here long enough. Either you're going to get one shot to play, or you're out of here."
Good.
And then
that's a way to relax you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But then that's funny you mentioned that because I just relaxed. I said, "Hey, screw it. I'm just gonna
I got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. Have fun." And I hit 29 home runs in A ball in Bakersfield.
So does Lasorda call you up and go, "Hey, maybe I wasn't such a jackass for hiring you.
Yeah.
You're starting to hit home runs."
You're making me look
Yeah,
good.
he started taking all the credit.
So that's A ball. Then they put you to AA and AAA, and then in AAA.
Yeah, exactly. Then what happened was I went to Mexico. I played winter ball, which was a big lift because I played against a lot of guys that played in the big leagues. And then next year I went AA, AAA, big leagues in 1 year.
Wow, in 1 year.
Cool, yeah.
And you start playing for the Dodgers, and all of a sudden you become this great player. They even say that about Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan wasn't so great when he first started.
Yeah, it just was the classic late bloomer. Just just got and it's a confidence thing because once you get to that situation and you know you can do it, that's half the battle.
George Steinbrenner is the host of Saturday Night Live that week in 1990 or something, right?
Yeah, and this is George Steinbrenner, and he was at the height of, he's George Steinbrenner, the Yankee. He's the cliche that you know from Seinfeld that Larry David played.
We want to look to the future. We've got to tear down the past. Babe Ruth was nothing more than a fat old man with little girl legs.
And we were all scared of him. We were all terrified. No one had thought of the monologue, and then there was some idea for a monologue that wasn't even my idea, and it became like doing KP duty in the service. It was like, someone take care of this. And I remember Lauren saying, Conan, go talk to Steinbrenner and pitch him this idea for a monologue, and I don't even remember what the idea was. And what I didn't know is that he had been pitched this idea already and said no. So I remember I went in, and Bob Odenkirk and I were like the young writers. We're kids. We go into this room. I have to do the talking. And I go in, and I'm like, Mr. Steinbrenner, yeah, so this is idea for the monologue where you come out and you lost the keys to the car and you think maybe, and he said, I told you I don't want to do that idea. I already said I don't want to do that idea. And what I remembered is he had this massive World Series ring, biggest ring I've ever seen in my life.
Big, thick fingers.
And he looks like he has about 60 pounds of corned beef in his colon. One of those big,
beefy guys.
Big German guys. He's like, I don't want to do this. And I already said I don't want to do it, and I don't want to do it. And so Odenkirk and I retreat out of the room, and our testicles had gone up inside our bodies. And we go and we tell Lorne, and we say to Lorne, he doesn't want. And Lauren went, you just have to go back. You just have to go back and tell him. You just have to go back and tell him, look, it's a good idea, and you've lost the car keys, and then it's a funny thing, and he'll understand. And so Lauren just wanted this problem to go away, so he sent us back.
Oh.
So we go back into his little dressing room. So he's even bigger because he's in a tiny space. It's like we're getting into a phone booth with George Steinbrenner to tell him unpleasant news. We go into this tiny room. He sees the two of us, and I go, Mr. Steinbrenner, okay, well, we just think the thing with the keys could be funny because if you think about it, and Steinbrenner just turned around and said, I told you I don't want to do it. I already said I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do it. And Odenkirk and I shit ourselves and disappeared from the room. Like we literally went right through the wall like ghosts.
Gary threw out the first pitch. I mean, for the Daily News newspaper to say...
comment even on a pitcher.
I mean, to say it's the single most embarrassing moment in the history of first pitches. Gary Dell'Abate, we all know him as Baba Booey from the Howard Stern Show, delivered what has to be the most embarrassing ceremonial first pitch in baseball history Saturday. He had been talking for weeks on the Stern Show about doing this, and Saturday he finally got his shot. Here it is. Why did you do this?
Well, first of all, there's a couple of things going on. I'll let you.
Do you know right away that was the right after you released it? When do you realize this is going horribly wrong?
So I'm standing on the side, and I've got 8 minutes before I have to go out there. I'm just getting more and more nervous, more and more nervous. I start to do that thing that I do. You know
Lick
how
your lips?
No, dry heave.
Oh, I didn't even know you did that.
Like when I get really nervous, I start to cough like I'm going to throw up.
Oh.
Gee, I didn't even know about that disgusting.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah. I thought you meant licking your lips and teeth.
No. I start to get the dry heaves.
Wow.
So I'm doing it on the side, and the guy that's with me from the Mets is looking at me like I'm out of my fucking mind. Right. When I get it, so I've been given so much advice from so many different people. Some people say, just go out and throw it, don't
what
pitch.
kind of advice are they giving
some people say, just go out and throw it and don't pitch. And some people say, go and pitch. And what that was a bad combination of me saying, I'll pitch, and at the last minute go, no, I'll just throw it.
You didn't think it was going to be this big.
No, I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
He embarrassed the whole family.
Have Mary and your sons been relocated yet? Aren't they in the witness protection program?
So we get home on Saturday, and I'm really bummed out. Mary's like, God, I've been putting up with this for 2 weeks. Is this going to go on now?
Right.
I go, Mary, it's all over the fucking news.
Yeah. Here's Gary from another angle. You see, he didn't pick up his hand high enough over his head or something.
And it releases too early.
And now he knows the pitch has gone bad right here. Ooh.
There's a beaten man.
You look like a beaten man.
So I got a buddy who works for Rawlings, and he knows all the players. And he sent me back a note. This is probably the most stinging one of all. I got reports from all the players. It's worse than you imagine.
Oh, my God.
So that means the players are now it's like the inside joke of the clubhouse.
Yeah.
But here's the question. Will this go away eventually, or is this one of those things that's just always going to be very, very prevalent on the show?
Always going to be very prevalent on the show.
All right.